Kia ora, hello, I'm Philip Duncan. Thanks for joining us for our Monday update, recorded on the 17th of February. We've got low pressure descending down around us and moving in from the west, and at the same time the tropics very busy with a lot of low pressure systems around us. The high pressure zone out to the east is very strong and powerful. That reaches all the way up into the tropics, get very close to Tonga. And so as a result of that, as it comes back down the other side, that's where you've got all that humidity. And that's the reason why we're seeing that wet weather around the top of the country. This low is dropping southwards and falling apart. The low in the Tasman's at its strength at the moment, at its peak. That will fall apart as it comes in on Tuesday, and it's gone by Wednesday. So this is our best chance of getting some wet weather into those very dry western parts of New Zealand, especially the central western side of the North Island. So this is this evening. You can see the low pressure zone here that's dropping from the tropics. That's almost gone and being absorbed by the more powerful, more dominant low pressure zone out there in the Tasman. The rainfall you see on here, the pale blue drizzle patches, risk of a shower, it's the sort of slightly darker blue shaded areas that bring the better chance of rain. So it's a mix of the 3 Ds: drizzle, dry spells, downpours. And that's the kind of weather we get, especially at this time of the year when you've got low pressure falling apart. It's kind of got a bit of energy to make a downpour, but not necessarily make it widespread for everybody. So you'll see patchy kind of rainfall totals around the North Island. And as we go into Tuesday, that's when you'll get more of that rain moving into the west coast where it's needed, because the west coast, the entire west coast of New Zealand, is drier than average at the moment, especially the central western North Island around King Country, South Waikato, parts of Taranaki, and then around the west coast, especially South Westland and down around Fiordland. But everywhere along the west coast is drier than it should be at the moment, pretty much. So that low coming through will bring in some rain relief. It's more broken up for the North Island. You might get a thunderstorm or a heavy downpour if the clouds break up at the right time of the afternoon and you get that afternoon heating mixed into it. But yeah, the rainfall totals are very messy over the next couple of days. Perhaps the most of it is around Hokitika southwards. That's where you're seeing those higher rainfall totals. By Wednesday, it's all gone. Well, mostly all gone. The low pressure has mostly gone. That is dropping down south of the country. Behind it, showers coming into the western side of New Zealand. Now, there'll be nor'westers, a little bit windy around the North Island, so it's not going to be cold for you on Wednesday. And it does bring in a little bit more of that rain relief to those western sides. Rainfall totals won't be huge, but you got something in there to look forward to. Now, as we go through to Thursday, here comes the next high pressure system. And before that high south of Australia moves into New Zealand, it drives up this cooler, wetter change. So as we go towards the end of this week, another burst of wet weather moves into the country. The tropics still very busy with several low pressure systems around French Polynesia, the Cook Islands, Samoa, Tonga and Fiji. And in fact, it's this low pressure zone here on Thursday we'll be keeping a very close eye on. It could turn into a cyclone, but like I say, if these lows are all next to it and they steal energy from each other, reduces the chance of a tropical storm. You still get plenty of wet weather, but without that severe damaging wind. So we're still going to keep an eye on things up there. There's a lot of instability in the tropics, as you would expect in the middle of February, going towards the end of February. March is the peak of the cyclone season. It's when sea surface temperatures are at their highest down in this part of the world. So if you like swimming, you've still got another month or two to go before you're done with swimming in the sea maybe. But yeah, warm conditions are developing. So that's why we're seeing these tropical lows forming. But like I say, Friday in New Zealand, the next high coming in from Australia dredges up a cooler southerly for some of you. So that could bring some bursts of heavy rain for the South Island. Those showers will fall apart the further north they go, but you will get a few showers tracking into the North Island on Friday evening. They could be a little heavy, worth keeping an eye on for that. And you can see that large low up around Tonga, stretching up to Samoa, stretching over to Fiji. So that's quite a large low pressure zone on Friday. But when you look at Saturday's map, got this low pressure zone, a couple of them next to it, another one out here near Vanuatu, and a new one sort of developing over the Coral Sea. That one should also be worth keeping an eye on. So a lot of energy northwards, but we're protected by high pressure. And I use the word protected in the sense of that's what the high does. But if you need rain, you don't want to be protected from rain, right? So protected may not be the best word, but that is what this system does. It kind of elbows away those rainmakers, keeps conditions mostly dry. The pale blue here just means a couple of showers around. They're not going to do much. And same story on Sunday. Bit of cloud on the west side, couple of isolated showers will do nothing pretty much to reverse the dry conditions. So you need that wet weather that is coming in today and Tuesday, and hopefully again on Friday night. Those are the best chances in New Zealand for rain. Otherwise, high pressure is in control. That's going to keep things pretty dry as we kick off next week in New Zealand. But also as we kick off next week in New Zealand, look at all the low pressure up here to the north in the tropics. So if one of those forms into a tropical cyclone, I wouldn't be very surprised. That is all from me though for today. I'll see you again tomorrow, Tuesday, with our next update.